Have you ever stopped to ask yourself why so much of your energy goes to everyone else but you? Why you spend hours thinking about what they are doing, what they think of you, how you measure up, while your own life waits quietly in the background, unnoticed, untended, unclaimed? Every glance at someone else's success, every comparison, every quiet doubt about whether you are enough chips away at your strength, at your clarity, at your peace. And the worst part is it often happens without you even realizing it. You wake up one day exhausted, frustrated, and wondering why your life feels smaller than it should, why your dreams feel distant, why your potential feels trapped behind the walls of expectation and distraction. This is the cost of looking outward before looking inward, of prioritizing others over yourself. The truth is, your life is yours alone. It is yours to craft, to grow, to refine, to push beyond limits you've been told or fixed. Every second you spend living through the lens of someone else's approval, judgment, or imagined standards steals a piece of your power. You were born with a unique combination of abilities, passions, and insights that exist nowhere else. And yet, too often, they are left dormant while your attention is consumed by what everyone else is doing. Imagine the energy you could reclaim if you stopped comparing, if you stopped adjusting your path to fit expectations that aren't yours. Imagine the clarity you would gain when your focus shifts fully inward, when every thought, every action, every ounce of effort is invested in your own growth, your own vision, your own purpose. This is not just a motivational idea. It is a psychological reality. Research shows that people who focus on personal development, on their own growth and mastery, experience higher levels of happiness, fulfillment, and resilience. Their minds are freer, their actions are bolder, and their lives are richer. They are no longer tossed by the tides of judgment or envy. Instead, they stand firmly in the center of their own journey, unshaken by comparison, undistracted by criticism, unstoppable in pursuit of what truly matters. And this is what awaits you when you begin to focus on yourself. A life where your energy is fully yours, where your confidence grows naturally, where your dreams no longer whisper in the background. They roar to life because you are finally giving them the attention they deserve. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to invest in you first, to make your growth, your clarity, your happiness the priority, to step off the treadmill of comparison and step fully into your own power? Every moment spent watching, wondering, or measuring against someone else is a moment of your life you will never get back. But when you commit to yourself, when you redirect your energy inward, the transformation is immediate and undeniable. You will feel stronger. You will think clearer. You will move with purpose. And this is just the beginning. By choosing to focus on yourself, you are not just changing a habit, you are reclaiming the life you were meant to live. You are deciding right now that your path, your growth, and your fulfillment matter more than anyone else's opinion. And once that choice is made, nothing can stop you. Have you noticed how often you measure yourself against others as if their success defines your worth? Every scroll through social media, every conversation where someone boasts, every subtle comparison you make in your mind chips away at your confidence, leaving behind doubt and anxiety disguised as reflection. Comparison feels harmless, even natural, but it is one of the most dangerous traps for your mind. It tricks you into believing that someone else's path is the standard, that their accomplishments somehow diminish yours, and that your value is dependent on how closely you match what you see around you. And yet, this endless measuring against others steals something far more precious than time. It steals belief in yourself. The truth is, your life is not a contest, and it was never meant to be measured by someone else's achievements. Each person moves through the world with a different set of challenges, opportunities, and experiences. Comparing yourself to them is like judging a tree by the speed at which a flower blooms next door. You were never meant to be identical to anyone else. Your growth, your progress, your victories are unique, and they deserve recognition on their own terms. Science shows that the habit of comparison triggers a constant cycle of dopamine spikes and drops. You feel briefly uplifted when someone else's life looks worse, or when you achieve a milestone faster than someone else. But the relief fades instantly, leaving emptiness behind. Your mind becomes addicted to these fleeting validations, and you forget the only validation that truly matters, your own. Imagine redirecting that energy inward. Imagine noticing the urge to compare and instead choosing to celebrate your own steps, no matter how small. Imagine the freedom that comes when your confidence is no longer tethered to someone else's narrative. Every achievement you claim, every skill you refine, every step forward matters more when it is done for yourself, because it builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by someone else's circumstances. The moment you stop measuring against others, you reclaim control over your emotional state. You begin to define success on your own terms. You start to trust your journey instead of envying theirs. You allow yourself to move at your own pace, to honor your own process, and to grow in alignment with your purpose. Comparison is not just a habit, it is a thief of potential. Each second spent wondering how you measure up is a second where your focus could have built strength, clarity, or skill. And here is the liberation. The second you choose to stop, the second you shift your gaze inward, a new power emerges. You feel lighter because you are no longer carrying the weight of everyone else's expectations. You feel sharper because your mind is no longer scattered in pursuit of fleeting approval. You feel unstoppable because your energy, your ambition, your creativity belong fully to you. Every moment you focus on yourself compounds. Every action, no matter how small, strengthens a life built on your own terms, for your own vision, by your own hand. So today, refuse the trap of comparison. Notice it, acknowledge it, and let it go. Turn your attention to your progress, your growth, your accomplishments. Measure yourself only by the person you were yesterday and the person you are becoming today. When you commit to this, you step out of the shadows of others' lives and into the light of your own potential. You begin to move with purpose, confidence, and clarity. And in that space, nothing can distract you, nothing can diminish you, and nothing can stop you from becoming the fullest version of yourself. Your life is yours, measured by your growth, not by someone else's success. What would it feel like to recognize your value without needing anyone else to validate it? To wake up each day knowing that your worth is not defined by likes, comments, promotions, or praise, but by the effort you put into becoming the best version of yourself? So many people wander through life as if approval is the currency of existence, trading their peace, their energy, and their clarity for fleeting recognition. And every time you hand your sense of worth over to someone else, you weaken the foundation of your own life. You give away power that belongs only to you. Your mind and your spirit are designed to grow, to create, to achieve, but only when you recognize that the starting point of all growth is believing you are enough as you are right now. Intrinsic value is not a concept, it is a life-changing principle. Research in psychology repeatedly shows that people who derive their sense of worth from themselves rather than from others experience greater resilience, higher self-esteem, and more lasting satisfaction. When your confidence comes from within, setbacks no longer feel catastrophic. Criticism no longer controls your emotions. The noise of the outside world loses its ability to distract or destabilize you. You become immune to comparison because your focus is anchored in your own journey, your own growth, your own purpose. You start to realize that the only person you need to impress, the only standard that truly matters, is the one you set for yourself. Start by identifying what you bring to the table, your talents, your strengths, your passions, the qualities that no one else possesses in the same way you do. Write them down. Repeat them. Let your mind feel the weight of your own capability. When you invest time in recognizing your value, you create a mental shield against envy, doubt, and insecurity. Every affirmation of your worth strengthens a neural pathway of confidence, rewiring your brain to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. You are training yourself to see opportunity in every moment, to trust your instincts, and to act decisively because the anchor of your self-belief is unshakable. When you begin to operate from a place of self-worth, life changes. Opportunities stop being intimidating, challenges stop being paralyzing, and fear loses its grip because you understand that failure does not diminish you, it only teaches you. The world becomes a place to test your strength, refine your skills, and claim the life you were always capable of creating. Every choice you make becomes intentional. Every action becomes aligned with your values, and every step becomes a declaration that your life matters first and foremost to you. This is the emotional reward that comes from valuing yourself above all else. Clarity, freedom, and unstoppable momentum. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to earn approval. You no longer chase illusions of perfection or comparison. You focus solely on what will grow you, challenge you, and elevate you. And as you do this consistently, you will notice a profound shift. Your energy becomes sharper, your mind becomes calmer, your heart becomes braver. You will finally feel what it is like to be fully in command of your own life, fully invested in your own growth, fully confident in your own value. So choose today to honor yourself first. Protect your worth, celebrate your strengths, and operate from the knowledge that you are enough. Your growth, your peace, and your happiness depend on it. Every moment spent doubting yourself or looking outward is a moment lost. When you turn your focus inward, you reclaim not only your power, but the life you were meant to lead. Your worth is not negotiable. Your life is not for comparison. Your focus is your liberation. Have you ever realized how much of your life is spent seeking approval, not living it? How often you adjust your words, your actions, even your dreams, just to fit into someone else's expectations? This constant need to be liked, accepted, or validated is exhausting, and it quietly steals your freedom, your energy, and your potential. Every time you allow someone else's opinion to dictate your choices, you step away from the life you were born to lead. Approval might feel comforting in the moment, but it is a cage. It limits your courage, diminishes your creativity, and keeps your true self locked behind the door you've given away the key to. The power of self-approval is revolutionary. When you learn to trust your own judgment, to honor your own instincts, and to validate yourself without external permission, everything changes. Research shows that intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, produces more resilience, higher satisfaction, and a deeper sense of accomplishment than chasing recognition from others. When your actions are aligned with your own values, your energy becomes unstoppable, your focus becomes laser sharp, and your mind is free from the chaos of comparison and judgment. You start to see that approval is not something to earn, it is something to feel from within, rooted in the understanding that your life, your effort, and your growth are inherently enough. Begin by noticing the moments when approval seeking sneaks in. Every time you hesitate because of fear of judgment, every time you overextend yourself to please someone else, every time you quiet your voice to avoid conflict or criticism, these are the moments that reveal how much control you've given away. Start small. Make a choice today that is entirely for you. Say no when your energy is being drained. Speak your truth even if it risks discomfort. Take an action that honors your growth, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Each act of self-approval strengthens your confidence, rewires your mind to focus on what truly matters, and builds a foundation of self-reliance that no outside opinion can shake. When you embrace self-approval, fear begins to lose its power. You stop living cautiously for the comfort of others. You stop shrinking your vision or dimming your presence. You begin to move boldly in the direction of your goals, not because anyone else applauds you, but because you recognize the value in your own effort. Your decisions become deliberate, your actions become intentional, and your energy is no longer scattered chasing approval. It is concentrated on your growth, your strength, your clarity. The result is freedom. Freedom from worry about what others think, freedom from the pull of comparison, and freedom to pursue a life that is authentically yours. This is the emotional reward waiting for you when you stop living for approval, peace of mind, unstoppable confidence, and a sense of power that cannot be taken away. You will notice how lighter you feel, how sharper your focus becomes, and how strong you are when your energy belongs entirely to you. Each day, you practice self-approval. You build momentum that compounds into transformation. You stop living reactively and start living proactively. You stop letting others define your reality and start creating your own. The life you have been longing for, the clarity, courage, and purpose you have been seeking, it begins the moment you choose yourself over approval every single day. Decide now to honor your life from the inside out. Stop waiting for validation. Start acting from self-trust. Make your choices for your growth, your clarity, your happiness. The moment you claim this power, you reclaim your life. You are enough. Your life is enough. Your focus, your energy, and your will belong to you, and they are the keys to becoming unstoppable. Have you ever paused to consider the cost of constantly putting others before yourself? How much of your energy, time, and attention has been spent catering to expectations, solving problems that aren't yours, or maintaining peace at the expense of your own growth? Every time you ignore your needs to satisfy someone else, you chip away at your own life. You sacrifice clarity, focus, and the opportunity to develop your full potential. Over time, these small compromises accumulate into exhaustion, resentment, and a quiet frustration that whispers, "I am living someone else's life, not my own." Neglecting yourself is not selflessness. It is surrendering your power to forces that do not have your best interest at heart. Your life is your responsibility first and foremost. Every moment you dedicate to others without balance is a moment you cannot reclaim. Every second spent overextending yourself, overcommitting, or sacrificing your dreams erodes your energy and diminishes your capacity to grow. Science shows that chronic people-pleasing and self-neglect lead to stress, burnout, and even mental health challenges. Your mind and body respond to the imbalance of giving without replenishment. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Protecting yourself, valuing your time, and prioritizing your growth are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of survival, strength, and transformation. The world cannot give you what you must first claim for yourself. The shift begins when you recognize that your needs, your growth, and your energy are non-negotiable. Start by identifying what drains you, what distracts you, and what demands your attention without adding value to your life. Notice the relationships, obligations, and habits that siphon your focus and diminish your progress. Then act intentionally. Set boundaries that honor your time and energy. Say no without guilt. Refuse to participate in unnecessary conflict or drama. Commit to actions that feed your growth, sharpen your focus, and strengthen your resilience. Every choice you make to protect yourself is an act of self-respect, a declaration that your life and your potential matter more than anyone else's judgment. When you consistently invest in yourself, the benefits compound exponentially. You gain mental clarity because your attention is no longer fragmented by distractions that do not serve you. You gain emotional strength because your energy is protected and directed toward what truly matters. You gain courage because every act of self-preservation is a reminder that you control your life, your actions, and your destiny. You begin to operate from a place of power, not reaction. Your growth accelerates because your focus is concentrated, your energy is intact, and your commitment is unwavering. This is the profound reward of prioritizing yourself, a life lived on your terms, free from exhaustion, free from resentment, free from the constant weight of fulfilling everyone else's needs before your own. Each decision to protect your energy, each boundary you establish, each moment you dedicate to personal growth compounds into unstoppable momentum. Your life begins to align with your purpose. Your mind becomes sharper, your heart becomes stronger, and your spirit becomes unshakable. You start to experience the freedom of living intentionally, the clarity of knowing your worth, and the power of directing your energy where it belongs, towards you, your growth, your dreams. Choose today to stop neglecting yourself. Commit to protecting your time, honoring your needs, and investing your energy in what truly matters to you. Every boundary you set, every act of self-care, every choice to focus inward strengthens your foundation, sharpens your mind, and fuels your transformation. Yeah. Your life is yours. Your growth is yours. Your energy is yours. And the moment you claim this truth, nothing can stop you from becoming the fullest version of yourself. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the bridge between who you are now and who you are capable of becoming. Every day, your choices either strengthen your focus, your clarity, and your power, or they weaken it, scattering your energy in ways that leave you frustrated, exhausted, and unfulfilled. Self-discipline is the invisible force that transforms potential into reality. It is the commitment to act consistently, even when motivation fades, even when distractions scream for attention, even when the world around you demands your energy for everything but yourself. Without discipline, your focus drifts. With discipline, your focus becomes unbreakable, your actions deliberate, and your growth unstoppable. Start by identifying the areas where your energy is wasted, where habits are draining rather than building you. It might be endless scrolling, people-pleasing, procrastination, or indulgence in distractions that numb rather than nourish. Every time you choose these impulses, you reinforce a pattern that keeps you tethered to external forces instead of your own power. Discipline is the tool that cuts those chains. It allows you to reclaim your time, sharpen your mind, and channel your energy into actions that align with your purpose. Research shows that consistent, disciplined action builds neural pathways that make success habitual, turning effort into instinct and intention into results. The smallest daily acts, when repeated relentlessly, compound into unstoppable momentum. True discipline is not about restriction. It is about freedom. Freedom from chaos, from distraction, from the endless tug of other people's priorities. It is the clarity that comes when your energy is aligned with your goals, when every choice reinforces your vision rather than fragmenting it. It is the strength that allows you to say no to what drains you and yes to what empowers you. Discipline sharpens your focus, fortifies your willpower, and builds resilience against the noise of the outside world. Every disciplined choice is a declaration that your life, your growth, and your energy are yours and yours alone. When you commit to discipline, you begin to notice the transformation. Your mind becomes sharper because distractions no longer dominate your attention. Your confidence grows because your actions are aligned with your intentions. Your life begins to feel lighter and more purposeful because each step is deliberate, each effort meaningful, and each moment invested in yourself compounds over time. The emotional reward is profound, a sense of control, a clarity of purpose, and an unstoppable drive that cannot be derailed by comparison, judgment, or distraction. You no longer drift through life reacting to circumstance. You move with intention, with power, with focus. This is the essence of self-mastery. Discipline is not a burden you bear. It is the engine that propels you forward. Every act of consistent effort builds your inner fortress, fortifies your mind, and amplifies your ability to focus on yourself and your growth. The more you embrace it, the stronger you become. The more you practice it, the more unshakable you grow. And as your discipline strengthens, so does your freedom. The freedom to live fully on your terms, the freedom to pursue your vision relentlessly, the freedom to become the person you were meant to be. Claim that freedom. Strengthen your discipline. Focus entirely on yourself and watch as your life transforms from scattered potential into unstoppable achievement. Have you ever noticed the power that comes from being alone with your thoughts, uninterrupted and fully present with yourself? Solitude is not emptiness. It is a laboratory for self-discovery, clarity, and growth. The world constantly bombards you with noise, opinions, expectations, comparisons, and distractions. When you surrender to that noise, your focus fractures, your energy dissipates, and your purpose becomes blurred. But when you claim time to be alone with your mind, fully conscious of your own presence, a transformation begins. You start to see yourself without filters, to hear your own voice without interruption, and to understand what truly matters without external influence. Psychological studies show that deliberate solitude strengthens creativity, enhances self-awareness, and improves emotional resilience. When you spend time alone, you process thoughts and emotions more deeply. You notice patterns that hold you back. You recognize desires that have been buried beneath distraction and expectation. You reconnect with your purpose in a way that cannot happen when your mind is scattered across the lives, opinions, and achievements of others. This quiet focus is where real power grows, the power to think clearly, act decisively, and live intentionally. Solitude also builds independence. It teaches you that your peace, your happiness, and your growth are not dependent on the presence or approval of anyone else. You learn to enjoy your own company, to rely on yourself for motivation, and to cultivate inner strength that is unshakable. The moment you feel comfortable alone, you stop seeking validation constantly. You stop bending to expectations that are not yours. You stop chasing illusions that do not serve your growth. The freedom that emerges from solitude is profound. Clarity replaces confusion. Confidence replaces doubt. And energy that was once scattered begins to focus entirely on your evolution. When you make solitude a deliberate practice, every moment becomes an opportunity to sharpen your mind and strengthen your spirit. Meditation, reflection, journaling, or simply quiet observation are tools to reclaim your attention from the chaos of the world. Each act of focused solitude reinforces the understanding that your life belongs to you, that your growth depends on your awareness, and that your purpose is discovered not in the noise, but in the silence of deliberate attention. Your thoughts become sharper, your decisions become more aligned, and your emotional resilience grows because you are no longer relying on external input for direction or confidence. This is the emotional payoff of solitude, freedom, clarity, and unstoppable focus. When you dedicate time to yourself, you cultivate a mind that cannot be swayed by comparison, criticism, or distraction. You become your own compass, your own source of motivation, and your own measure of success. The clarity gained in these moments allows every choice, every action, and every step to be intentional. You start to operate from a position of strength, not reaction. Your energy becomes concentrated, your purpose becomes undeniable, and your growth becomes inevitable. Embrace solitude as a tool of self-mastery. Protect your moments alone. Use them to understand yourself, to strengthen your focus, and to reconnect with the person you are becoming. Each moment invested in yourself compounds into clarity, resilience, and unstoppable momentum. The life you are meant to lead, the strength you are meant to claim, and the freedom you are meant to experience begin when you step into the quiet power of your own presence. Claim that space, honor it. Let it fuel every decision, every action, and every step toward the fullest version of yourself. Notice the things that trigger your need to compare yourself to others. The posts you scroll past, the conversations that leave you feeling inadequate, the people whose success seems to highlight your shortcomings. These triggers are subtle, but their effect is powerful. Each one nudges your attention away from yourself and into a space where your energy is spent measuring, judging, or envying instead of building, growing, and strengthening. Every moment spent reacting to these triggers is a moment you are not focused on your own potential. The first step toward mastery of your life is to identify and neutralize these triggers before they steal another ounce of your clarity and momentum. Your environment, both physical and digital, shapes your thoughts, habits, and ultimately your life. If you constantly expose yourself to comparison, criticism, or distraction, your mind unconsciously absorbs it, and your energy begins to drain in ways that feel automatic. Research shows that repeated exposure to social comparison, even if brief, activates stress responses in the brain and reinforces a cycle of self-doubt and distraction. But awareness is power. The second you notice these triggers, you gain control. You can make intentional choices to protect your attention, your focus, and your growth. You can curate your environment, limit exposure to what diminishes you, and redirect your energy toward what strengthens you. Detaching from comparison triggers does not mean avoiding the world. It means reclaiming your energy from influences that do not serve your growth. It means creating a space where your focus is sacred, your attention is deliberate, and your mind is free to cultivate ideas, skills, and habits that elevate your life. You begin to understand that other people's success is not your failure, their path is not your limitation, and their opinions do not define your worth. Each time you consciously redirect your focus inward, you strengthen a mental habit that builds resilience, clarity, and confidence. You train your mind to prioritize what matters most, your growth, your potential, and your life lived intentionally. When you consistently manage these triggers, you unlock mental freedom. Your mind becomes sharper because it is no longer fractured by comparison and judgment. Your confidence grows because you no longer measure your worth against fleeting or irrelevant standards. Your energy becomes concentrated and your motivation becomes unstoppable because it is fueled by your own vision, not by external validation or envy. Every deliberate act of focus, every choice to remove distractions, every moment spent aligning with your values compounds into clarity and momentum. You begin to feel what it is like to live without the constant pull of external comparison, to operate from a place of inner strength, and to experience your life fully on your own terms. This is the reward of conscious focus, peace, energy, and unstoppable growth. When you remove the triggers that pull you away from yourself, you reclaim the power that has always belonged to you. Your thoughts, your actions, and your energy become intentional. Your potential is no longer scattered across the lives of others. It is concentrated in the life you are building, moment by moment, decision by decision. The clarity, confidence, and momentum you gain are not temporary. They compound daily. Your life becomes a reflection of your priorities, your discipline, and your focus, and the freedom that emerges is profound. Protect your attention, shield your energy, focus on yourself, and watch as the unnecessary noise fades, leaving only the power of your own potential guiding every step forward. Investing in yourself is not an indulgence. It is the most strategic decision you will ever make. Every ounce of energy, every minute of focus, every dollar spent on your growth compounds into a life that is stronger, sharper, and unstoppable. Too often people pour their resources into satisfying others, chasing fleeting pleasures, or maintaining appearances that serve no one but the illusion of success. Meanwhile, their own potential remains untapped, their skills unrefined, and their clarity clouded by distraction. The choice to invest in yourself is a declaration that your growth, your strength, and your purpose matter more than temporary approval or validation from the outside world. Psychology proves that deliberate investment in personal development through learning, physical training, mental strengthening, or skill acquisition produces lasting confidence, resilience, and achievement. Every improvement you make in yourself multiplies because your mind, body, and habits adapt and grow stronger with consistent attention. The smallest daily actions, when performed with focus and intention, create momentum that cannot be stopped. When you invest in yourself, you are not merely acquiring skills or knowledge, you are reshaping your identity, fortifying your mindset, and preparing yourself to operate at the level of your full potential. The most transformative investments are not always the obvious ones. They are the actions that strengthen your clarity, sharpen your focus, and enhance your capacity to take control of your life. They might be the time you spend learning a skill that elevates your potential, the hours devoted to developing emotional resilience, the consistent routines that strengthen your health, or the moments you dedicate to deep reflection and planning. Each act, though small, signals to your mind and body that your growth is a priority. It rewires your habits, reinforces your confidence, and builds an unstoppable foundation for every challenge, opportunity, and aspiration that lies ahead. When you consistently invest in yourself, the results are unmistakable. Your mind becomes sharper, your energy more focused, and your confidence more resilient because it is rooted in competence, growth, and deliberate action. You stop seeking approval or validation from others because you recognize that the highest return comes from the investment you make in your own life. Every decision becomes intentional, every action aligned with your vision, and every day a step toward the life you were meant to create. You begin to experience freedom, the freedom that comes from knowing that you are equipped, prepared, and capable of handling whatever challenges and opportunities arise. This is the emotional reward of self-investment, power, clarity, and momentum that no outside influence can take away. Every hour, every choice, and every effort you dedicate to your growth compounds into progress, strength, and a life lived on your terms. The world may try to pull you into comparison, distraction, or obligation, but the energy you commit to yourself becomes unassailable. Focused investment in your growth is a declaration of independence. It is a commitment to living deliberately, to building resilience, and to creating a life that reflects your highest potential. Choose to invest in yourself relentlessly because the returns are exponential. The transformation is real, and your life, your growth, and your power are worth everything you dedicate to them. Your journey is yours alone, and it deserves your full attention, respect, and commitment. Every life moves at its own pace, and every path has unique challenges and opportunities. When you allow yourself to measure your progress against someone else's journey, you surrender clarity, confidence, and peace. You begin to chase illusions, believing that their timeline or achievements define your value. The moment you stop comparing, the moment you honor your own pace, you unlock a profound freedom. You recognize that your growth is cumulative, your achievements are meaningful, and your path is perfectly suited to the person you are becoming. Gratitude for your own journey is not passive, it is an active acknowledgement that every step you have taken matters. Research shows that focusing on personal progress increases life satisfaction, resilience, and motivation. When you celebrate your milestones, however small, and acknowledge the work you have done to arrive where you are, you strengthen your mental foundation. Your mind becomes resilient against envy, doubt, and distraction. Every act of reflection, every acknowledgement of your own growth, reinforces the understanding that your life is unique, valuable, and worthy of your energy. Patience is a critical element of honoring your journey. Growth cannot be rushed, and mastery cannot be forced. When you operate on someone else's timeline, you create unnecessary pressure, stress, and frustration. By committing to your pace, you allow yourself to develop depth, skill, and wisdom. Every deliberate action, every incremental improvement compounds over time into momentum that is unstoppable. Your progress may not be immediate, but it is constant. The awareness that each day you invest in yourself is a day moving forward empowers you to stay focused, disciplined, and motivated, regardless of external comparison or expectation. Embracing your journey means understanding that your past, present, and future are interconnected. Every challenge you have faced, every lesson you have learned, and every effort you have made builds the foundation for what comes next. The mistakes, the setbacks, the struggles, they are not signs of failure, but markers of growth and proof of resilience. By honoring your path, you begin to operate from a position of strength rather than regret. You cultivate clarity about what matters most, which allows you to invest your time, energy, and focus in ways that yield the greatest returns for your life, not for the validation or approval of others. This focus creates an emotional freedom that cannot be undermined by envy or distraction. You no longer measure your life against arbitrary standards or the fleeting success of someone else. You cultivate confidence because your progress is your own, your momentum is self-driven, and your purpose is entirely aligned with your values. Every step becomes intentional, every decision deliberate, and every effort compounds into unstoppable growth. The peace, clarity, and resilience that emerge from embracing your journey are profound. They allow you to live with purpose, act with courage, and focus relentlessly on becoming the person you were meant to be. Commit fully to your journey, protect it from comparison, distraction, and doubt. Celebrate each achievement, honor your pace, and recognize that your growth is unique and valuable. The life you are building, the strength you are cultivating, and the person you are becoming are all the direct result of your focus, your discipline, and your dedication. When you embrace your path with clarity and gratitude, you step into a freedom and power that no external influence can touch, and you begin to live fully, intentionally, and without compromise. Every thought you allow to occupy your mind shapes the life you create. Your attention is the currency of your growth, and where you spend it determines the trajectory of your potential. When your focus drifts to the lives, opinions, and successes of others, you dilute your energy and scatter your purpose. Every comparison, every judgment, every unnecessary distraction weakens your clarity and chips away at the momentum you could be building. Your mind is not meant to serve as a scoreboard of someone else's achievements. It is a laboratory of creation, a forge for your own vision, and a sanctuary where your potential takes shape. Mental discipline is the tool that allows you to reclaim this power. Studies in cognitive psychology show that attention is a finite resource, and what you consistently focus on shapes your neural pathways, habits, and outcomes. When you train your mind to concentrate on yourself, your growth, and your goals, every thought becomes productive. Every idea becomes actionable. Every decision becomes deliberate. The moments that were once wasted on comparison or envy now fuel clarity, creativity, and momentum. Your mental energy is no longer scattered. It becomes concentrated, focused, and unstoppable. Refuse to give your attention to what does not serve you. The comments, the posts, the gossip, the noise, they are distractions designed to pull you outward when your life requires inward focus. By consciously choosing where your attention goes, you create an environment of mental clarity. You build resilience against the pressures of society, the judgments of others, and the chaos of comparison. Each act of focus is a declaration that your energy is yours, your growth is yours, and your life is yours to shape. Every distraction you resist strengthens your mental muscles, sharpens your clarity, and accelerates your progress. When you operate with focused attention, the results are immediate and compounding. Your mind becomes sharper because it is no longer divided. Your decisions become wiser because they are informed by purpose, not by reaction. Your energy becomes more powerful because it is fully directed toward building the life you desire. You experience the liberation that comes from realizing that no one else can dictate your path, define your value, or determine your success. The freedom of focused attention is not merely mental, it is emotional and physical. It allows you to act with precision, to feel empowered, and to move through life with unstoppable momentum. This focus is transformative because it creates alignment between your inner world and your outer actions. When your attention is disciplined, your behavior follows. Your habits reinforce your goals. Your decisions support your vision. Your energy amplifies your growth. The life you desire, the confidence you crave, and the results you seek are not found in the noise of others. They are cultivated in the intentional focus of your own mind. Your clarity becomes your compass. Your energy becomes your fuel, and your momentum becomes unshakable. Claim your mind as your most powerful asset. Guard it fiercely against distractions that drain, comparisons that distort, and opinions that mislead. Train your attention to dwell on your growth, your potential, and your purpose. The life you are building, the person you are becoming, and the power you are cultivating all depend on your ability to focus relentlessly on yourself. Every thought, every moment, every decision matters. Protect your attention, harness your energy, and channel it entirely into the life you were meant to create. Your energy is the most valuable resource you have, and how you spend it determines the quality of your life, the speed of your growth, and the depth of your fulfillment. Every thought, every conversation, every action consumes energy. When you allow your energy to be directed by the needs, expectations, or judgments of others, you dilute your power. You drain yourself chasing validation, satisfying obligations that are not yours, or reacting to distractions that steal your focus. The moment you take ownership of your energy, the moment you decide it serves only your growth and purpose, everything changes. You move from being reactive to being intentional. You stop being exhausted by life and start being empowered by it. Scientific research on productivity and emotional resilience confirms that where you place your energy has a direct impact on your outcomes. When your attention and effort are aligned with your own goals, your mind functions at peak capacity, your actions gain momentum, and your progress accelerates. Conversely, when your energy is scattered, you feel drained, your focus fragments, and even small tasks become exhausting. Every choice to invest your energy wisely compounds over time. Every boundary you set, every decision to protect your focus, and every moment you dedicate to yourself builds strength that cannot be undermined by others. Energy management is not about avoidance. It is about direction. It is not about ignoring the world. It is about choosing where your power flows. When you prioritize yourself, you are not being selfish. You are being strategic. You are allocating your most precious resource to what yields the greatest return, your growth, your clarity, and your ability to live intentionally. This means saying no to what drains you, refusing to engage in distractions that do not serve your purpose, and deliberately channeling your energy toward actions that build momentum, confidence, and mastery. Every choice you make becomes a reinforcement of your personal power. When you consistently manage your energy, the transformation is undeniable. Your focus becomes sharper because it is no longer fractured by obligations that are not yours. Your motivation becomes unstoppable because it is fueled by purpose, not by external pressures. Your confidence grows because you learn that your power is self-contained, not borrowed from the approval of others. You begin to operate from a state of abundance rather than scarcity, recognizing that energy invested in yourself compounds exponentially while energy scattered outward diminishes your potential. This is the emotional and psychological reward of directing your energy inward: clarity, strength, and unstoppable momentum. The noise of the world fades because your inner resources are no longer available for distraction. Your mind becomes a tool of precision, your decisions become deliberate, and your actions become powerful because they are driven by your purpose, not by reaction. The life you are building, the results you are creating, and the person you are becoming all depend on your ability to protect, manage, and invest your energy wisely. Commit to this truth: your energy belongs to you and to no one else. Protect it fiercely, direct it intentionally, and dedicate it entirely to your growth, your clarity, and your purpose. Every choice to conserve, focus, and channel your energy strengthens your life, sharpens your mind, and accelerates your transformation. The freedom, power, and fulfillment you crave are the direct result of mastering this most vital resource. Guard it, respect it, invest it in yourself, and nothing will be able to stop the life you are destined to create. Focus is not just a skill, it is the foundation of your entire life. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every step toward the person you are meant to become depends on your ability to direct attention, energy, and intention toward what truly matters. When your focus is scattered by comparison, distraction, or external expectations, your potential becomes diluted, your progress slows, and your mind becomes weighed down by noise that has nothing to do with your purpose. But when your focus is unwavering, every action compounds into clarity, power, and unstoppable momentum. You begin to move through life not reactively, but deliberately, with precision and intention. The psychology of focus shows that the human brain is not built for multitasking. Divided attention reduces productivity, increases stress, and weakens emotional resilience. When you constantly shift your focus to the lives, opinions, or achievements of others, you sacrifice your own progress. Every thought spent on comparison, every ounce of energy consumed by distraction is a moment lost from building the life that belongs to you. But focus is a muscle. Like any muscle, it strengthens with deliberate exercise. The more consistently you train your mind to return to your own goals, your own growth, and your own purpose, the sharper, clearer, and more unstoppable you become. Start by examining where your focus is leaking. Notice the moments when your mind drifts to what others are doing, when you react to judgment, or when you chase approval instead of results. Each instance is an opportunity to reclaim your attention and redirect it to what matters most. When you make the conscious choice to prioritize yourself, your growth, and your vision, you reinforce a neural pathway of productivity, clarity, and resilience. Each focused effort strengthens your ability to act decisively, make better decisions, and invest your energy in ways that yield exponential returns. The benefits of disciplined focus extend beyond productivity. They touch every aspect of your life. Your mind becomes sharper because it is trained to filter distractions. Your confidence grows because you see tangible results from actions taken with intention. Your emotional resilience strengthens because you are no longer dependent on external approval or validation. And your momentum becomes unstoppable because every day, every decision, every action compounds in alignment with your vision and purpose. The clarity that comes from focus is not temporary. It builds an enduring foundation that supports long-term growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Focus also creates freedom. When your attention is fully under your control, you are liberated from the chaos of comparison, distraction, and judgment. You no longer react to the noise of the world. Instead, you create from a place of strength and intention. Every choice becomes deliberate, every step becomes aligned, and every action becomes a reflection of the life you are building. You begin to see that focus is not a restriction. It is the key to operating at your highest potential, to achieving the goals that matter, and to living with clarity and purpose. Commit to mastering your focus. Protect it fiercely from distractions, comparisons, and the demands of others that do not serve your growth. Direct it intentionally toward your goals, your growth, and your vision. Every thought, every action, every ounce of energy you invest in yourself compounds into clarity, strength, and momentum. The life you desire, the person you are meant to become, and the freedom you crave are all rooted in your ability to focus relentlessly on yourself. Guard your focus and watch as your potential transforms into unstoppable reality. Your habits define the life you live. Every action repeated consistently, every decision made without thought, builds either momentum or resistance. Habits are the invisible architecture of your existence. When your habits are scattered, reactive, or influenced by others, your energy disperses, your focus weakens, and your potential remains dormant. But when your habits are intentional, disciplined, and aligned with your growth, they become an unstoppable force that propels you toward your goals. Every choice you make in alignment with yourself compounds over time, creating exponential progress and unshakable confidence. The science of habit formation shows that repetition rewires the brain. Neural pathways strengthen with consistent practice, making productive actions easier and more automatic over time. When you deliberately cultivate habits that serve your growth, you program your mind and body to operate efficiently, decisively, and powerfully. Conversely, allowing your habits to be dictated by external influences, comparison, distraction, or the need for approval ensures your energy is fragmented, your progress stalls, and your clarity is clouded. Your habits are the building blocks of your life. Choose them with intention, and they will carry you further than motivation alone ever could. Start by identifying the habits that steal your energy or scatter your focus. Notice the small actions that, day by day, erode your potential. Social media scrolling, overextending yourself for others, procrastination, or chasing approval. These may seem harmless, but they silently drain your life force. Replace them with habits that feed your growth, your focus, and your strength. Establish routines that sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and cultivate discipline. Each deliberate habit reinforces your commitment to yourself and creates momentum that compounds faster than sporadic effort ever could. Consistency is the key. Habits become powerful not because of their magnitude, but because of their repetition. Each day you choose to act in alignment with your values, goals, and growth, you strengthen the neural pathways of success. You cultivate resilience, clarity, and focus, The actions that once required effort and discipline eventually become instinctive. Your mind and body start to operate as a unified system, optimized for growth and aligned with your purpose. Habits transform into automatic mechanisms that support your vision, amplify your energy, and multiply your results without constant conscious effort. Intentional habits also create freedom. When your routines are aligned with your goals and growth, you no longer waste mental energy on decision fatigue or external influence. Your actions flow naturally from your purpose, and your energy is concentrated where it matters most. The emotional reward of disciplined, purposeful habits is profound confidence, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. You experience the satisfaction of progress that compounds daily, the certainty of focus that remains unbroken, and the freedom to live intentionally without being pulled in directions that do not serve you. Commit to your habits with unwavering dedication. Guard them from distraction, comparison, and influence that is not yours to carry. Let every routine, every repeated action, and every choice reflect the person you are becoming. Your habits are the engine of your transformation, the unseen force that propels you toward clarity, growth, and mastery. Protect them, strengthen them, and align them with yourself, and the life you are meant to live will emerge not by chance, but by deliberate, unstoppable design. Your mindset shapes everything you do. Every action, every decision, every interaction is filtered through the lens of your thoughts and beliefs. When your mindset is influenced by doubt, fear, or the opinions of others, your potential is limited, your energy is scattered, and your focus is fragmented. But when you cultivate a mindset rooted in self-belief, clarity, and resilience, you unlock a level of power and momentum that cannot be disrupted by external noise. Your thoughts become your allies. Your beliefs reinforce your growth, and your vision becomes inevitable because your mind refuses to settle for anything less. The psychology of growth shows that mindset is the core determinant of performance, resilience, and satisfaction. Fixed beliefs restrict progress because they create resistance, hesitation, and fear of failure. A growth-oriented mindset, on the other hand, sees challenges as opportunities, setbacks as lessons, and effort as the path to mastery. When you internalize the understanding that your life is shaped by your beliefs, your perspective, and your focus, you stop giving away your power to comparison, judgment, and external validation. You begin to act decisively, think clearly, and invest your energy where it produces the greatest return in yourself. Start by examining the beliefs that limit you. Identify the thoughts that make you hesitate, doubt, or seek approval. Notice the ways your mind unconsciously measures your worth against others. Awareness is the first step toward change. Once you recognize these limiting patterns, you can actively replace them with empowering beliefs. Affirm your ability to grow. Remind yourself that your journey is unique. Accept that your potential is yours to cultivate, not borrowed from the approval of anyone else. Each conscious thought becomes a seed of strength, clarity, and unstoppable momentum. A resilient mindset is built through repetition and reinforcement. Every time you choose to think in alignment with your growth, your neural pathways strengthen, making it easier to respond with confidence, courage, and clarity in the future. You begin to act from a place of possibility rather than limitation, from self-trust rather than doubt, from purpose rather than reaction. Over time, your mindset becomes your strongest asset, a source of energy, motivation, and direction that cannot be derailed by comparison, distraction, or criticism. This mindset creates freedom, the freedom to focus on yourself without being pulled by the chaos of external influence. You are no longer reactive to others' achievements, opinions, or expectations. Instead, you are proactive in shaping your life, making decisions that reinforce your growth, and building a foundation of resilience and clarity that compounds daily. The emotional reward is immense: confidence, peace of mind, and an unshakable sense of purpose. Your thoughts are no longer a battlefield. They become the engine that drives your actions, fuels your energy, and powers your transformation. Commit to mastering your mindset with deliberate focus. Guard it from doubt, fear, and external comparison. Feed it with clarity, self-belief, and empowering perspectives that reinforce your growth.